Congress to step in, right, to like impeach the court or something. But my point being is that the Supreme Court doesn't have the power to interpret the Constitution at will. Like all they can say whatever the fuck they want out of the Constitution, and then it becomes law. That's stupid.
I mean, you're half right about that, right? The problem with what you're saying is the Constitution isn't written in plain English. It's written in highly technical English that does require interpretation. The prose is dense. The prose is technical. The prose is packed with terms. And those terms do require interpretation. And so this idea that you can just read it in plain English...
When was the last time you read it?
I don't know, a couple days ago? Why?
It's not
So the idea that you can read it in plain English is not entirely true. You actually do some education in order to be able to interpret it effectively.
Wait, okay, can you pull up the First Amendment? The freedom of speech and religion and everything else. Are you telling me that that's not written in plain English and that you need to be educated in constitutional law to understand what it means?
No, I didn't say you need to be educated in constitutional law. I didn't say that.
Okay.
Right.
So the Second Amendment is very clear, right? The 22nd...
I thought we were doing the First Amendment.
Well,
Yeah, why don't you just
Congress
read the
shall
First
make a
Amendment
law.
for the class?
Congress shall make a no law respecting the establishment of religion. I mean, already we're on the establishment of religion. That's going to require unpacking. That's going to require unpacking. The establishment of religion requires unpacking as a term, right?
Hold on. I'm a person with no high education. For me, it is very easy to understand what that is.
So unpack it as a term.
You mean unpack what it means?
Yes,
Like,
specifically establishment of a religion. Unpack it.
establishment of a religion is basically like a lot of things in this world, like Russia, for example, where they have one religion as a government religion, right? And that is the Russian Orthodoxy, the Christian Orthodoxy. So other religions don't have the same rights. Their religion that is established by the government, which is supreme to all the other religions. Does that make sense?
I mean, first of all, that doesn't actually unpack the term, right?
It doesn't, because it does say that, like, on most coins and tender, in God we trust. So it is establishing religious aspects.
Right, so for first of all, it doesn't unpack the term of religion. Right, second,
I want to just say that
I wasn't done yet. Hold on a second, Benjamin. I wasn't done yet. First of all, it doesn't unpack the term establishment of religion. Secondly,
Yes, it does.
you used a lot of words there.
I just want to
Excuse me, I wasn't done yet,
weigh in.
Benjamin, I wasn't done yet. Excuse you. You can wait your turn, Benjamin.
Yeah, you can wait your turn. I just want to point out, I think Katrina nailed this, because the founding fathers were clearly
What I was saying was that you used
they wanted this country to be different. They wanted this country to be different than the country they had already experienced. It's obviously what they meant.
So when we go from France, right, Benjamin, when we look at back in that time, France, England, religion was entangled with government. They went hand in hand. Religion made laws, and that was.
Well, I think that you're right.
You could not make a religion, one religion, on a government level that this particular government nation, right? This nation and the government of this nation is only practicing this religion, and this religion is above all the other religions. Period.
I think you were right instinctively, Katrina, that they were writing against their own past. They were writing against their own experience.
It's not instinctively. They said that.
Well, sure. I think the issue is, what do we do going forward?
Why are we talking about impulse control when Benjamin interrupted me? Right? I
He's
feel
the
upset
mod.
because Benjamin interrupted me.
He's
Right?
the mod.
I don't give a fuck.
Well, then if you don't.
So why are we talking about impulse control when Benjamin has poor impulse control? So what I was saying was that you use the a lot of words to unpack that term, which demonstrates.
Okay, I am going to kick this person out of the room because there is no humility or just decency.
Nah, he thinks we're all chatbots and shit.
Yeah. I don't bring people down and kick them out of the room, like I said. So if anybody has a problem with that, that's okay. You can let me know, and I won't do that here. Just don't harm it.
What did T do? I don't understand. He was interrupted by Benjamin.
He's the mod.
Yeah, so what? He's Benjamin. Who gives a fuck?
Well, I don't know the dynamic between you guys, but I think that mod is
Look at that, he's gone.
a conversation.
Okay, Benjamin's not here no more. So what?
Okay.
Well, I think the conversation got a little bit derailed by T. I mean, it's true that there is nuances, right? And like, it's written in plain English, but that doesn't mean that there's no nuances in plain English, and there's ambiguity in language in general. So nobody's arguing that there is no need for a court to interpret the law. The point that I'm making is that there is clear statements in the Constitution that are transparent and don't have ambiguity. They're pretty clearly stated. For example, and I give the example, like the president cannot hold office more than twice, right? There's no ambiguity on that. Nobody can say that they can hold office 5 times or 3 times through interpreting and be correct. There's no nuance there to have a court. And if the court were to say that all of a sudden presidents can hold office more than once, they will be essentially against the Constitution. Will be constitutional crisis.
You'd be shocked at the ability for people to interpret that particular clause, Carlos.
Yeah, because they're already making an argument right now. A lot of lawyers, right, are
Well,
starting to
not a
come up
lot,
with.
but yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, a lot of Trump server lawyers, right? They have a whole team right now who are already, in quotations, interpreting it, right? So basically, the way they are saying it is that the president cannot be elected. Now, what is the word elected? Elected by the people. That means
But
there has to be an election.
the Constitution says hold office. It doesn't say elected. It says hold office.
Elected.
No, it
The
says hold
22nd Amendment says elected.
office. They cannot hold office more than twice.
Okay, somebody pull up the Constitution, the 22nd Amendment. Unless I'm like completely being
No, you're right.
gaslit over here.
No, I'll read it because Carlos is wrong. No person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. And no person who has held the office of the president or acted as president for more than 2 years in the term to which some other person was elected shall be elected to the office of the president more than once.
And that's talking about the vice president in a situation where the president is incapacitated, the vice president takes over. And if the vice president took over and he held the role of the president or whatever, there's a succession, whatever. And if that person held office for longer than 2 years, that considers already as a term, as a full term. I don't know, it's pretty easy for me to understand this. Why are people saying that this is such a hard language?
It leads to the interesting trivia.
Well, because it furthers it's a presupposition of their argument, and then they just keep going on down the argument when the premise is shit.
Okay, so my original thought-provoking question was, if the Supreme Court interprets the Constitution in the wrong way, right? For example, they pick the word elected and they say, well, the thing is that the president has to be elected, and if there's no elections because, let's just say, for example, we have a national emergency, you just got attacked and there's chaos in the country, right? Where, major military defense operation being bombed, right? Then in that situation, you cannot have elections. So technically, do you see how far this interpretation can go and be manipulated? So my question is, when that happens, right, and the Supreme Court says this is constitutional, there is nobody else to pretty much go against them, is there? Because they're the highest court and they are in charge of interpreting the Constitution and making sure the Constitution is followed.
No, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I'm not saying, my argument is not that it cannot happen. My point is that it's against the rules, right? I mean, that in theory, the Constitution could not be written by the Supreme Court. That's my point. The Constitution says what is the process to be amended, and it's part of that process. Like, let me give you another example. Like the Supreme.
Hold on, nobody was disagreeing with that, and nobody was arguing or debating you on that fact, right?
Well.
I was talking about
Stephen T.
interpretation.
Stephen T. were certainly not in agreeing with me, right? But like,
but they're not
you seem
right
to,
now, right?
Well, when you say nobody, they were here, right? When you say nobody, right? It's and again, when you're talking about someone who refused to talk about like saying the Constitution was legal, was the law, right? It's essentially the same thing as it's been happening to me when it's like until now you're saying like, okay, nobody disagrees with you right now on that point. That's fine, but I'll just that's the point that people were arguing before.
Gotcha.
Till this point, we could say.
I gotcha. Okay, well now we can agree that those people are not here right now, and we can maybe not talk about their points, not bring up their points. I think everybody else kind of agrees and understands that there's a structure of how to change the Constitution.
There's two structures.
I was trying to ping Allie in the room, but I don't know how to do it. I think he's, I don't know where he is, but I feel like you guys got off on the wrong foot. Allie's a stand-up guy, in my personal opinion, and he has quite a lot to say about this subject.
Elliot, I appreciate you, and I can see that you have a lot of affinity for this person. Nothing against that, right? I would.
Does anybody else have like messing up right now? For some reason the audio just cuts out and it's just not gonna be.
Are you on Androids?
I think somebody that has a personal bias against someone else.
Katrina, I think you've had quite a day. A lot of conversation with a lot of different people. Most of them seem half crazy. Can you handle it?
Well, like I said earlier, I like once in a while
Wait.
to practice.
Do you have children?
Yes, I do.
I think a 6-year-old would be excellent practice for most of these characters.
Well, I have a 9-year-old son, so honestly,
Okay, you've been through this, you know.
that's what I have to do. I literally just turn on my mom hats. Honestly.
That was hilarious. You were like, okay, have a tantrum. Are you done with your tantrum? You sound like you were talking to your kid.
I mean, that is the purest.
Because you were talking to your kid. It was just somebody else.
Yeah. I have to.
You're talking to a kid, not your kid.
Well, I don't say it. I don't know. I think kids are very intelligent. But I just have to meet the people on their needs. That he definitely had a need to scream and let it out. So you know what? Just like a little kid who's just have all these emotions and they don't know how to deal with them, right? Because they haven't developed that part, right?
I have
You just have to help them out a little bit. You know, let it out. You know.
I have the theory that Steve is drunk a lot of the time. Sometimes when you have conversations with him, he's more measured and it's possible to have a better conversation. Sometimes it's impossible. He interrupts all the time. It's like people start talking like, It is like, I think he's drunk. Like literally drunk.
Steve, he definitely. Oh, wait. Can you guys hear me first of all?
I can hear you fine.
Thanks, Lon. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah, has that.
The app is like going, I don't know, it's going bonkers right now. I have to leave and come back. You guys are like cutting out mid-sentence for me, and I have to like leave and come back. Steve is like, he interrupts a lot, and I do find that like really annoying. But he's also pretty harmless, and I think he's well-intentioned most of the time, so I give him a pass on this stuff sometimes.
I don't think he's so harmless. I think that he's misogynistic towards the women in his cadre. He says really inappropriate things to married women.
Well, apparently, my level of not having a higher education shows quite a lot.
Yeah, you can't even read the Constitution.
No, Katrina, I agree, it does. You should wear it as a badge of honor. Most people who have to pay somebody to learn this shit is because they're dumb.
Well, I like to call myself, right, disarm the people usually. And, why don't you explain to me the little stupid blonde, bleach blonde, stay-at-home mom who doesn't have any education, explain to me.
So how do you feel?
What you're saying.
Put in a lot of work. You're
I
exhausted.
love doing that.
You're probably a little tireder than you needed to be in practice, though, right?
Let's enjoy this. Nobody's going to tell Pro that he's hot by game.
Sorry. Talking to my young man who played 3 times today. He practiced.
Oh, anybody's going.
Oh yeah. I didn't know what's up. Yeah, he practiced before he practiced. I'm like, you gotta be feeling pretty good about yourself, but you also gotta be exhausted. Because it's 9:25. Third time you play basketball today. Yeah, I think actually, for a second I thought you were talking about all of us, Pro, because that also applies here. I think you opened this room at, I got here like 9 a.m. Pacific, and just been kind of hanging out all day, and so far it's actually been, I think it's been a pretty good group today, and there were a lot of like really draining, energy intensive kind of conversations, but there are also some really
That is true.
But I think everybody generally handled themselves relatively pretty well.
How did you guys survive Brian?
What do you mean
Briar's
survive,
dope.
Brian?
I think Briar's a lot to take in.
Oh, you mean that there is a lot of content, a lot of information to process in a really short amount of time? I can agree with you on that. That is a very high level, very detailed, yes. Benjamin, you need to practice your skills of, what is it? Oh my God, why am I going blank?
Probably because of so many things that follow in that sentence.
That's right. I have so many skills. Isn't there piloting skills, my guitar skills?
Practicing your absorbing information skills, that the information that comes at you is very rapid and very, what could I say, not simple, very loaded.
I do think that Brian is a gift gallant. I think that's right. But I think that a lot of his claims are unsupported. Right? So it's just a naked gift gallant.
The thing he was talking about, one of the things he was talking about, that's the view of Noam Chomsky. I don't know that. What is it?
Isn't Noam Chomsky one of Epstein's friends? Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah.
That's right, but he's also the most
Epstein number 4.
academic on the
Epstein number 10. Yeah, Epstein.
I think the question is who wasn't Epstein's friend? I think that would have been a lot shorter.
Barack Obama wasn't.
Yeah, I'm saying that list would be a lot shorter than who was.
I think he was just his friend, though. I think he was like one of those,
Well,
Yeah,
I was a friend in quotations.
It's not clear because he was just into academics, right? And so he was friends with a lot of people in academy, but it's not clear that they were also pedophiling. But that's why you like to have an investigation to find out exactly who was doing what, but fuck.
You can go to jmail.world right now and look up the emails between him and Chomsky.
I've engaged. I have saved. Well, I don't know that I saved all the trouble. I haven't read all of them. I've read quite a few of them. There are like, I think there's a few thousand, email correspondence between them. Most of them are just like stupid little like, hello, how are you? Like really short messages. But some of them are like really, I was like so fucking disappointed to see this guy in the Epstein files. Like I'm still disappointed to this day. I have mixed feelings. It's kind of like a Michael Jackson situation. You know what I mean? I don't know what you guys think about that.
Oh, we know what you mean.
Let's not go there. That's a long combo.
Is it long?
Is it wrong to like a pedophile music written by a pedophile?
Oh, the thing that bugged me the most about what I read, I didn't read all of them, but was that he was, even after Epstein was convicted in 2008 of solicitation of an underage minor prostitution and another conviction in 2008, Epstein still maintained contact with him for many years afterward. That is extremely fucking disappointing. And there's a few more things that I've heard other people say about this that I haven't personally read, but I think they're probably right about that.
Elliot, do you have an Android phone?
Yeah, I got the S25 Ultra. Benjamin, I'm surprised you're not more onto the Chomsky thing, because he seems like the prime pickings, if you know what I mean, from your.
Oh, from my little perspective. I'm not anti-academic, by the way. I gotta be careful with that. I'm writing a department proposal, a new department proposal for MC Boulder.
It's funny. It's earlier we talked about the phones like many hours ago, and maybe Pro's right that it is the moral, ethical choice to have an Android.
I just wanted to point out, Elliot, that you and I and Pro have Android, and we all have that same problem. And what I figured out until they fix it is that it's going to happen every time your phone angle redraw. Like if you rotate the phone and it redraws the screen in the new position, it is not reconnecting the audio. Does that make sense?
Interesting. That's why I don't have the problem, because I turned that one off.
Oh, you're turned off. Yeah, turn off rotate on your phone. Turn off auto rotate on your phone, and you'll be fine.
I've actually got the screen lock on, so my screen never rotates. But when it happens for me, it seems consistent with me. Like, okay, if I press like the back button to drop down this the clubhouse chat room, then I open up like the hallway. That's usually the main culprit. That's typically when it.
I've seen other things do it as well, like going to the settings screen. Yeah.
I don't have Taro's sensibilities about things. I lack a lot of the insight that people like Taro have. But I think that if you guys were to have like a longer conversation with Ali, I think you'd probably agree. At least I hope that he's not like one of these crackpot conspiracy theorist type of people. He's like actually kind of the opposite.
Ali is sensible. That's another way of saying Ali agrees with me.
I've heard Ali make plenty of bad takes, but I think he's probably a relatively moderate kind of person. But he's as nice and well mannered as he is. He says some shit that I go But what exactly did he say today? I'm sure I'm beating it
No,
out, but
I wasn't there for the whole. I heard like snippets back and forth. There was a combo between him, Katrina, and David as well. And David and Katrina seemed like on the same side of it. I didn't hear the whole thing. What was I gonna say? Ali, he seems to go like a little too hard into the Muslim stuff.
yeah, he does.
I think he might even be a little more hardcore than Benjamin on that.
I've heard people.
As I said, he's smart. He agrees with me.
I was in a room one day where someone was accusing him of that, and I had actually heard it, so then I started paying attention to it, and I was like, oh, okay, I get what people are talking about. But whatever his experience is, he is, from the 10 or 20 times I've heard him speak, he hardly seems like, compared to the people who are just in this room today, is anywhere near the problem that some of the people were in here. I didn't get to hear some of the characters whose names I haven't really heard before, but I forget. You guys said some entertaining names, or I was like
an HO guy who was in here earlier.
Yeah, that guy was new. Yeah, he came in the very early morning, and he strikes me as a guy who was on his best behavior to not be as problematic as he probably otherwise normally is, because I think he was just liking we literally were talking about cosmetics and stuff, and he just jumped around. We were just kidding around. It was like me, you, and AJ, and all of a sudden he wouldn't let it go. I was like, bro, like,
Retinol.
yeah, it's just something. That lady said one thing about it. I can't remember who it was, and he just went crazy. And that's when I was on the court in the morning.
Coco.
Yeah. And she was like, she's just like, oh, I'm into face care and blah 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 and all that stuff. So, we were just like engaging in that conversation a little bit. He wouldn't let that stuff go. So, and I started listening to the guy's viewpoints. And I was like, oh, okay, he's a little touched, but the whole app is a bunch of touched people, And I do some of what I heard Taro doing. Like I was playing basketball, but I was trying to get the gist of it. But it was like the criticism of how people do or don't mod. And it's like I sometimes will get up on my little horse and say the same thing. Be like, but at the end of the day, no one's fucking paid to be here. People can do what the fuck they want. It's a public app, and you can't get mad if people aren't paying attention that much, right? It's not like some evil, sinister plot all the time. If people who are modded aren't doing what they need to be doing, people got fucking lives. Like I listened to about 45% of what went on today, which is about my usual percentage. That's just what I fucking do. I'm not playing police to people, but if I'm in the room and some people are saying some bullshit, I'm gonna tell them they're saying some bullshit. I am the least afraid to tell some fucking bullshit person that they're saying bullshit. Probably in the whole fucking app. I think people are pussies on this app and don't tell people enough when they're speaking bullshit. So I kind of agree with that, but at the same point, you can't police everybody. People are fucking busy. I don't give two flying shits about what's happening 25% of the time in Clubhouse because I'm barely paying attention. And we got to drop the idea that this is fucking important to people. It is not really that important to me. I am literally in there just taking up time and letting people talk in the background. And if I have have time and I can engage meaningfully, I will. But I come in my room and be under no false pretenses that I really give a shit, because I don't. I only give a shit when I can give a shit, because my life is, fucking, just like everybody else, there's a lot of shit going on. And so, it's like, this is just a fucking app. And people are going to say bullshit, and you can either leave or stay, or come up and tell them to their face that they're being a fucktwat. That's about the options you have. But you can't tell people, like, I need you to moderate harder if we're not paying them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, people don't need to do shit. You can hope they do shit. And I said the same stuff. Hey man, you hear some people talking to bullshit, don't be afraid to throw them in the crowd. What I don't like is when people kick people out of the room. That's just me personally. But, people have kicked people out of the room when I've been in here. Benjamin's done it, Sam's done it, all kinds of people. I don't usually kick people out of the room. But that's just me. You do your own room and kick people out the room all day. And see how many people stay in the room. Maybe you'll have 50, maybe you'll have 5, who knows? But the shit's like hard to have a room going all day when you got a life. You know what I'm saying? So there it is. But it's a long ass meta conversation about this shit that's been going on for like 3 hours, talking about the 3 hours of conversation. I can't really believe we're still talking about this shit.
My favorite part was right in the beginning when I first encountered for the first time, the Rational Boomer on the Rational Boomer podcast. That was looking great. And then I always love it when Sam goes on a rampage. I think he got into it with that guy at prior time about whatever that law was that got repealed in 2012. He went in on that guy